Hey, have you ever thought about making a zombie? It can be done, you know. They do it at MIT all the time. And they do it in a lot of agriculture schools with animals. Nobody's made a zombie out of a human before that we know of, but we have had human zombies. We voted for him. In Wisconsin, we have a governor that's a zombie, and we know it because we saw him coming out of a hole in the ground in the commercials when he was running again. But seriously, did you ever think you might have to vote about whether or not to let your government or some agency make zombies? Well, in England, they have to. Go to NPR Morning Edition, 10th of November, and look for the story where there's 3 parents. Yeah, and a big official in England has got to decide, based on her knowledge of meiosis and mitosis and the cell cycle, whether to let these doctors help these parents out by taking the nucleus of their new baby out of a cell and putting it into another mother's cell so that the mitochondria are going to be in good shape, and that child will not then have a mitochondrial disease. But there are people who are against that. They think the government is making zombies and test tube babies, and that's what they don't want people to do. What do you think? Would you like to go to the store and order a baby, the kind you want? Or would you like to go to your doctor and have him fix a baby that you might be having because it has a genetic disease? Or would you just like to make zombies in a test tube in high school class? That's coming to a store near you soon, I think. Well, in order to do that, you got to know the difference between mitosis and meiosis, and you have to know what they are. You need to understand that all of the cell culture, tissue culture, stem cell research stuff that's going on that's so exciting right now is all about mitosis. Can you think of reasons why doctors wouldn't try to do this with meiosis? How about a simple one? If they did it with meiosis, they'd have to do it with 2 people at the same time. How could you make a sperm and an egg genetically fixed or changed and then hope to make that happen in a baby? You can't do it. It's got to be mitosis! So, let's make sure all the kids learn the difference between mitosis and meiosis so that when we have to vote on it in the future, we'll know more than our stupid politicians. Thank you. Thank you. And if you don't like it, tough. But we need you to understand mitosis and meiosis. And I have a plan. You want to see it? Hold on. Okay, here's the plan. We're going to have a plan where we look at students who experience mitosis and meiosis interventions, and we don't think they're going to understand anything better than the students, after 6 months anyway, than the students who did not experience the interventions. I'll attach this to the other stuff so you can look at it more closely later. We're going to have all the students in both groups, treatment and control, look at the meiosis and mitosis interactives that are right here on the V-Cell Collection website. That's the Virtual Cell Animation Collection. And it's a cool thing. Okay, North Dakota State University did this. All right. Oops. And then we're going to teach them all about mitosis. We're going to look at Molly Stevens and let her explain how she makes bone in your own bone. Yeah, right under your arm and in your leg. She can make lots of bone and stick it in places where you need it when you break one. And Nina Tandon's going to talk about how to use tissue cultures and stem cells research to make slides with hundreds of different tissues on them from your own body, so you can test drugs before you take them to make sure you won't have any side effects. Isn't that cool? And what about cancer? Well, Paul Anderson in this 3D animation will talk to you about cancer. Yeah, these are the ways that mitosis happens, and it affects you all the time. And someday you're going to have to vote on this, remember. Don't forget, so you got to learn it. And then we'll look at V-cell animations of meiosis to understand how it happens. And you know how people know about it? Because they watch it under the microscope actually happen. That's why. And when you watch Life's Greatest Miracle, the first 10 or 15 minutes of this will show you how all of our genes get shuffled when we're making sperm and egg. And we can mimic that with a playing card game and have sex and so forth. It'll be a lot of fun. I just had a phone call from Zombie Central. They want me to make another zombie for them. Oh, it's hard. Okay, after we go through all of this, then we're going to figure out how to teach students this stuff, how they can learn it the best way. First, during classes, they're going to make a concept map where they take all of these different ideas they've learned from these animations and these video talks and show us what they all mean, how they link together, how they're connected. They'll make a concept map. And then they'll use a cartoon program to teach others what they learned about mitosis and meiosis. They'll have a rubric to help guide them to know what to put in their script for their cartoon characters. They might even figure it out. They could use a boy and a girl. And then 6 months later, we're going to get all those same students back and find out what they remember. We're going to ask them what they remember. We're going to give them a test, but we're going to ask them what they remember and what they like the best. And then we'll compare the data between the students that didn't have the interventions with ones that did with student t-tests. We'll use means of means, and then we'll iterate the lessons after we refine it based on what we find out from the students and their teachers. And then we'll make new improved lessons as before, and I'll send my bill of $1 million to MIT. Zombies will make them pay, I'm sure. Don't you think so? Ha ha ha!